Live from Studio A, it's First Run! Prepare your applause for someone who, well, we actually still not entirely sure how he got this role, but, it's Dr. Dramaturg!
Soup to impress his lady friend. We've all been there, am I right, camera 4? Written by second-time first-run writer Oscar Clarke, you're about to witness what really goes into a good soup in Walter Moon and the Perfect Soup. And if you see some mysterious floating faces in the background, that would be our live musician or live sound effect artist creating the score you'll be hearing throughout the episode. How exciting! I'm excited. And one more thing, yours truly is starring in this one. That's right, the doctor himself. Let's roll those credits. Let's get this show started.
Walter always came out to collect his newspaper, but today was different. Mr. Moon. I slowly crept up the front steps and to the door, pausing for a final second before slowly turning the handle and looking inside. There stood Walter Moon, sweating like a tinsmith at a forge. His greasy brown hair clung to his forehead, and his grey stubble glistened like morning grass. He wore a blue apron, although now more brown than blue, and at his feet lay a pile of sliced onions and a wooden bowl on its side.
Rupert, come quickly. Help clean these onions off in the sink.
Is everything okay, Mr. Moon?
Every good soup begins with a good fond.
A fond?
When you caramelize the vegetables at high heat, it creates a sort of clump on the bottom of the pan, and it's that chunkiness that really creates the flavor.
He sounded like a madman, but I didn't know what to do.
Now we deglaze the pot, releasing that locked-in flavor into the soup.
So I watched him work, adding stock, bundles of herbs, a pinch of salt here, a dash of turmeric there. Time blurred, and before I knew it, Walter Moon was ladling a portion of thick soup into a decorated white bowl.
My mother painted this bowl herself. It's my favorite to eat soup out of.
He passed the bowl to me. I took a spoonful and raised it to my lips. Mr. Moon, this is delicious. It's very well balanced. What's the matter?
It's not perfect, though, is it?
Pardon?
Taste it again, but really taste it. Taste its fullness. Focus on the heart of the soup.
He was right. The flavors were delightful, but when I focused intently on the detailed qualities of the soup in my mouth, I noticed the absence that Walter referred to, like a missing instrument in an orchestra. Mr. Moon, I can assure you, it's a lovely soup.
No, it's wrong. It has to be perfect. Let's try it again. More stock, less wine, a little longer on the stove.
Mr. Moon. He continued working, as if I disappeared. Mr. Moon, why do you need the soup to be perfect? He looked up. His hand stopped moving.
Jill.
Jill? Jill Wickham's from over the road? What about her?
I love her.
What does that have to do with soup?
Well, you see, Rupert, it all started last Sunday at the market.
Walter!
Jill! Oh, what a surprise. Good morning.
How are you? Is the crabapple tree holding up after the storm last week?
I'm good. Crabapple not so good. Lost some leaves, but I think it'll recover.
Can I get you some leeks? Maybe a box of cherry tomatoes?
Oh, if you please, certainly. I'll take 2 leeks if it's not trouble, and slightly overripe tomatoes if you have them. They tend to be less acidic.
You must be making another soup.
How did you know?
The evening breeze pushes the smell right through my window. If I'm not mistaken, I'd say you make a heavenly soup.
Oh, well, you should come over and try sometime.
I'd love that. Are you doing anything this Friday?
Absolutely not. Friday's perfect. Perfect. See you then. See, Rupert, it has to be perfect. It can't be any less than perfect.
For a while I stood there, listening to the rhythmic tap of Walter's knife against the chopping board. He worked with bleak determination, like a lost sailor clinging to the mast. But I knew then and there that without my help, Walter Moon's soup was destined to fail.
I beg your pardon.
Oh, Mr. Moon, if you keep making soups with the same ingredients, you're never going to get the perfect blend. You're trying the same thing over and over again and expecting a different result. That's the definition of
bad cooking, I know, but what do you suppose I do? She's coming over tonight and this is all I have. The markets aren't open until the weekend.
Well, I could see if there's anything at my place.
Anything I don't already have?
Perhaps not.
Well, if you don't have a better idea, I suppose I better get back to my cooking and, well, you best be off.
What about the forest? Savenake? My brothers used to explore it, find all kinds of things. Roots, gums, wild onions. You could try them in a soup.
Savenake Forest. I've heard things about that forest. Troubling things, Rupert. Things we ought to avoid.
Like what?
I'll tell you. Like thieves so cunning they steal the minds of men. Like poisonous rivers so potent they make even medicine sick. I've heard, Rupert, that a darkness lives there, older and more wicked than the gods. One that feasts on the souls of the unwanting souls that walk right through.
Well, we could just walk around at the edge of the forest then. Stick to Baggers Creek.
What's to say we don't get lost?
I know it well enough for us to go in and get some ingredients, I'm sure. Walter will be fine. I've been there before. No mind thieves or darkness gods, I swear it.
We'll stay at the edge.
Wowee! Wasn't that a lovely start to their journey? That guy, Walter, he looks like my buddy Dr. Dramaturg. Wait, that was Dr. Dramaturg. Wait. He asked me to fill in tonight because he said he had a date with the CEO of Hollywood. I guess you can never trust a guy who wears theatre blacks. Anyway, here's some sponsors or whatever. Oh, whoops. Okay, forgot that I have to do this as well. But you're back with Run First. Oh wait, no, you're back with First Run, and I've been told to say that it is live and that we are streaming a brand new story. Are you just tuning in? Because this is the finale, and in an effort to make the perfect soup to impress Jill, Walter and Rupert head into Savenake Forest to find the perfect ingredients for that soup. Let's keep watching.
The sun set lazily in the afternoon sky as myself and Walter Moon marched through the brown grass towards Savenake Forest. The faint tree line we'd seen for the last 2 hours had, before we knew it, materialized into a looming mass of tangled oaks and thick shrub. When we reached the snaking roots of the first oak, I saw Walter Moon hesitate. He looked back for a second at the long, untroubled grass swaying softly in the breeze, before turning back and marching on into the forest. In a matter of minutes, we found ourselves surrounded by swaths of luscious green. The menacing shadows had given way to a rugged plant kingdom that seemed to almost sparkle as the light reached through the towering treetops. Now, without any hesitation, Walter paced ahead and crouched down, immediately inspecting a small flowering plant. I pushed my way through the shrubs to catch up.
I don't know why you brought your bicycle.
I thought I might ride home afterwards. It's all right. This racer can get through anything. What's that you're looking at there?
I believe it's a Mernon weed. Says it should be edible.
Walter carefully dug away the soil around the plant, pulling it softly from the ground.
Pass me my flask. It's in the back pocket, and the bowl too, if you can find it.
Walter worked like a composer, completely wrapped up by the symphony he was creating. He snipped the mernon reed finely into the makeshift broth he'd prepared from dried stock and hot water. With a soft sigh, he turned to me.
Well, time to taste it.
Wow, that's brilliant. Mellow, really mellow. Soft, actually, almost melancholy. What is going on? I feel like I just lost the grand final at a chess tournament that I practiced really hard for.
What do you mean? I feel the same way. I don't know what's going on. Oh, God.
What is it?
I didn't read the side effects. It says here it includes temporary despair.
Well, I don't think that'll be the best ingredient for Jill's soup.
I think you're absolutely right. Have some water. What a shame, it was quite a promising batch.
Just as the effects of the mernon reed began to wear off, Walter Moon paced further into the forest, towards another cluster of vegetation. Mr. Moon, wait! We have to make sure we're staying in earshot of Bagus Creek.
These are pepper cherries, though. Have a look.
Walter pointed at his book and threw handfuls of red berries into the soup bowl.
Yes, it says here they're full of vibrancy and decadence. Perfect for a soup, if I might say.
Okay, any side effects, Mr. Moon?
Not that I can see. It only says here, salvation.
Salvation. Well, I suppose that can't be bad. Spiritually, good soup.
My thoughts exactly, Rupert. Let's dig in.
Just as quickly as he'd picked them, Walter was stirring a steaming bowl of soup. We exchanged a brief look of excitement before lifting a spoonful to our lips and... Oh,
It's got some kick to it.
it's nice. Nothing transcendent, though. However... Oh, my mouth feels slippery.
Mine too. It's... Oh, God, it's like I'm talking underwater.
Mr. Moon,
What?
the side effect listed here is salivation.
Yep, well, that makes a lot of sense, I suppose. Here, have the rest of the water.
I think I ought to read the rest of the side effects from here. Goodness, my mouth is like a river. I think we need to just sit for a moment, recover, get our tongues back to normal. Oh, Mr. Moon! Oh. Before I'd even finished my sentence, Walter Moon had marched further into the woods. As I followed hurriedly behind, I noticed the air change. The forest felt colder, meaner. The sound of Bagus Creek had dissolved into the wind, and the shadows of the trees reached out from the corners, swallowing the sunlight. Mr. Moon, slow down. We've got to stay back at the edge of the forest.
We'll be out of here in a second, Rupert.
Oh, Mr.
Look at
Moon,
these.
I'm concerned we've ventured slightly too far.
Well, this mushroom doesn't look like anything I've seen in my foraging guide.
He'd crouched down beside a cluster of small brown mushrooms that were smooth and bulbous in shape. Flipping through his foraging guide with one hand, Walter Moon picked several mushrooms with the other and threw them into his bowl. I don't know if eating those is a good idea, Mr. Moon. We have no idea the side effects or if they're even safe to eat.
Rupert, smell them.
As soon as I smelled the mushroom, my concerns evaporated. It smelled like chestnuts and butter, like homemade bread and steaming hot pie. We had to try it. As the mushrooms cooked in the hot broth, they smelled even better still. And when Walter finished the soup and passed me a spoon, I could hardly contain my excitement. With a soft sigh, Walter took a spoonful. I followed suit. It was like no other soup I'd ever had. I felt each crease in my brow unfurl with every taste bud the soup traversed. It was rich without being smothering, salty and sweet but not sickly. It was savory, satisfying, hearty, everything a soup could possibly hope to be. And it was all in the mushroom.
It's like a warm hug. Rupert, this is it. This is exactly what we've been looking for.
Before we could even begin to celebrate our discovery, A sinister chuckling came from the shadows. Walter and I whipped around, suddenly snapped out of the moment of calm the soup had produced.
Sweet plucky in the woods.
A thief! A thief!
Oh, my eyes are on good.
Hello? We don't want any trouble. We were just, walking through the woods and sat down for some mushrooms. Had no idea they were yours. We meant no offense. We'll be right on our way.
The thief starts to slobber.
Poor, sorry, Rupert.
If you want to leave, then a payment is proper.
Again, no idea they were your mushrooms. So sorry. If money is what you want, I think I've got a £10 note in here somewhere.
Money? Not money.
Not twice as much money.
Part with the beloveds.
Well, if it's not money, do you want food? I've got food.
Is it hot stew? Or is it roast?
We've got a hankering for your grief.
Grief? How do we pay you in grief?
Part with the beloveds.
Then you'll be covered.
Beloved, something we love? Something we love?
Give us a diamond or bread and butter.
But our thirst won't be quenched unless you suffer.
And what if we don't?
Then we will eat you.
Walter and I stood there. My heart thundered in my ears. I looked at Walter Moon. His eyes darted around. His leathery hands shivered at his sides. With a nod, he knelt down and slowly reached into his bag. I knew it before I saw it. That small, painted ceramic bowl. Walter's favorite. His mother's. The creatures revealed a cruel smile.
Oh, the last of a loved one. Yes, this will do.
Now what of the boy? He's a thief too.
No, that's not fair. I stole the shrooms. Rupert here I just gave them to him.
A thief nonetheless.
A payment or death?
Wait. You can take my bike. It's a steel frame racing bicycle, and I got it from my grandparents.
This'll do, yes, this'll do. Leave us now, we're done with you.
Let's get out of here, Mr. Moon. Just as we turned to walk away, Walter stopped, dead in his tracks. Mr. Moon?
What if I wanted more? Just a handful more for a soup back home.
Mr. Moon, what are you doing?
Our mushrooms are the best.
For a payment, be our guest.
Mr. Moon, do you mind if we discuss for a moment?
Take your time.
What on earth are you thinking?
I need those mushrooms, Rupert. We both tried them. You know they're perfect.
All I know is they threaten to eat us, and they feed off our grief. Mr. Moon, we cannot deal with creatures like that. What would you even give them?
That's a good question. I'll need something to give them. What do I love? I love Jill. Probably shouldn't give them Jill. I love my cottage. There's plenty of things in my cottage that I could give them. So much I love in there. They give me so many mushrooms.
Mr. Moon, listen to me. Love was always the best thing in every soup you made. If you give up all that you love for these mushrooms, then there'll be no love left for the soup. Besides, this was never about soup, Mr. Moon. This is about Jill. And Jill's not going to love you because of a mushroom you found in the woods. No. She's going to love you because you're a good man. Because you're kind and passionate and you're lovable.
Rupert, but what if she doesn't? I'm scared I'll put myself out there and Jill won't like what she sees.
I can't imagine that'll happen. What's not to like? Look, you're right to be scared. Confessing feelings is a terrifying thing. But that terrifying state of being seen is the payment we make for love. And I know you love Jill.
You're right. To hell with those mushrooms, to hell with those ungodly beasts. Upon consideration, I am no longer in need of your mushrooms and now wish to go our separate ways. Good day.
You took your time. A long time indeed.
Now it seems we're short of feet.
You said take your time.
Time's up.
Whoa!
Wait. I've got something here. Maybe it's a token of our appreciation for your time and your courtesy. Some of our leftover soup. Please take it. All I ask is that you don't kill us, or if you do, make it quick.
Oh, a tiny snack before the main.
A little soup wouldn't go astray.
Ah, that was nice, but it does not suffice
Now it's time
to pay the price.
Mildred.
What?
I don't know why, but I want to cry.
What? Oh. Oh, I do believe. I feel it too. All of a sudden I feel rather blue.
And my mouth feels funny.
Oh, yes. Oh, so funny.
Let's get out of here.
The moon and weed and pepper cherry. It's brilliant, Rupert!
Gosh, those little witches were scary. Reminds me of a time Dr. D got stopped by border security, but we don't have time for that story right now. What we do have time for is some more delicious sponsors, and that's what I know you're here for. Bye!
Although we returned empty-handed, spirits were high as Walter prepared a soup for dinner that night. He used leeks and cherry tomatoes from Jill's backyard and homemade stock that he dried into cubes. I watched him work, making a fond, deglazing the pan, a pinch of salt here, a dash of turmeric there. And just as the room filled with that familiar, hearty aroma, we heard a knock at the door.
Jill!
Walter, hi. Oh, hi. Rupert, is it?
Hello, Miss Wickens.
Sorry, his parents are out of town and I thought he could stay for dinner.
Oh, well, the more the merrier. I made you something. Oh, where is it? Oh, here. It's okay if you don't like it. It's just something silly I made at home for fun. I know that
It's perfect. Come through. We're having soup. Now, tell me what you think of the soup, and you have to be honest.
Well, if the smell is anything to go by, this soup is going to be wonderful.
Well, I had to bring my best after your comments at the market.
Hey, if it's bad, you can blame it on my vegetables.
As we laughed and talked over dinner in Walter's delightful little cottage, my cheeks began hurting from smiling. My chest contained a warm blend of laughter and hot soup, and I felt at that moment that Walter had bundled up all his love and simmered it in a broth of vegetables and red wine. As a result, he'd not only made a soup worthy of a first date, but the best one I'd ever had.
Brilliant, magnificent, incredible, show-stopping, literally, what a way to end the first season of First Run. If I didn't have my tear ducts forcefully removed at the 2006 incident, I'd be crying like Niagara Falls right now. Walter Moon and the Perfect Soup was written by Oscar Clarke, a Melbourne-based writer and filmmaker. For this piece, he drew inspiration from many great people. He's a great writer. Would love to have him on and talk, but no one has the time. What a pleasure it's been, this first season of First Run. We've had a lot of laughs, we've had a lot of fun. Hope to see you again. Shout out to everyone in the crew, everyone watching at home. Robin, that means you. Thank you, everyone. Oscar, get in here. The writer himself, one of many great writers. Georgia on the keys, absolutely crushed it. Nadia on the live sound, and everyone. Great. We love you. Get Brie on camera. Set designer extraordinaire. What a first run.
I think it's cut anyway.
I don't think we'll have to get on here. Give a round for our set team.